You are listening to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast with your host, licensed massage therapist, Kyle Pleasant. Here, we will be discussing topics on health and wellness, as well as self-improvement, and his experiences as a legally blind massage therapist. And now, here's your host, Kyle.
And hello, and welcome to Pleasant Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Pleasant, out here in Gresham, Oregon, a little massage therapist, just trying to get by and do his thing. And I thank you for listening to me. I don't know about you, but doing these episodes, like I say, few episodes back, it was, I was just going to do a few episodes just to see kind of how it goes or whatever. But for me, it's almost a little cathartic to be able to speak my mind and let my thoughts out every once in a while, so I can sleep a little bit better with a little less anxiety, I guess. You know, in these days, I know we all have a lot of anxiety, like what's going to happen, what's going to transpire from day to day, and we just kind of trying to deal with that because every day is uncertain, and tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So it's natural for us to stop and be a little bit apprehensive, a little bit nervous about what's happening in the world. The world stage is fraught with a lot of events that strive for our attention. So sometimes you just kind of have to turn that off and focus on your own life rather than the news. I'm not a big news watcher, but sometimes it's like I told a friend the other day, it's like what's happening on the world stage is like driving past a car wreck. It's awful, but you can't help but stop and oh my gosh, what happened there? And so a lot of the things that happen on the world stage, are just that. You can't help but I gotta flick on the news, something's going on, I gotta check that out. But you have to keep that all in perspective. At least for me, it's like, okay, there's a difference between being informed about things and being engrossed in what's happening in the world. You can be obsessed with things the drama that unfolds every single day. You can spend 10 minutes on the internet looking at a news story, and then 5 hours later you're going, oh my, I've been on the computer for 5 hours. Definitely happens a lot when I'm on TikTok. I don't know about you, but I think I'm addicted to TikTok or something. There's a lot of creative people out there, and I'm just thankful that I have the opportunity to use a medium like this to express my creativity in so to speak. So I'm not much of a drawer or musician or anything like that, but just being able to bring some kind of useful content to somebody out there, even if it's just for 10 minutes a week or whatever, I'm pretty thankful for that. Anyway, so I was inspired by a blog post that I saw the other day about what's going on in the world today, especially in the United States. A lot of civil unrest and riots and things of the like because of transitions of power and that kind of stuff. And we in the United States definitely you can definitely see an ideological difference between people, and it definitely has me curious as to what the dialogue is, us versus them, and that kind of stuff. And for me, I don't think it's a matter of us versus them, because we're all in this together, as they say. But it's not only true on a physical realm, but it's true on a spiritual realm, because we all came from the same place, and we're out here in the world expressing the creative aspects or view of the universe, and we are all put out here on the world, in the world, for a purpose. We are all human beings we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, and we have to stop and recognize that. And there's a cause and effect there to all these things. What we're seeing right now are a lot of effects of a greater cause. Just like if you have a cold, you get sneezing and coughing and fever and all those kind of things, and those are symptoms, effects of a cold. And what we're seeing on the world stage are effects of something greater. And my point is we have to get down to the root, to the cause of what these symptoms are that are showing up in the world. And a lot of the civil unrest is caused by insecurity and by people feeling that they're powerless or that their government is not listening to them. And I've said in another episode, people that feel powerless tend to want to steal power from somebody else who they perceive has power. So a lot of issues that happen in the world or in just your regular life, any unrest or upsetness is typically or challenges to your peace, as it were, or as a power struggle, that somebody out there feels disenfranchised in some way, and it makes people scared, and it makes people angry, and hurt people hurt, as they say. And really what it boils down to is what we see going on, the effects that are going on in the world. I mean, they're feeling the same things that we are. They're feeling anxious, and they're feeling angry, and they're feeling hurt, and they're feeling lost and disenfranchised. And we as a community, as a society, need to start addressing those feelings, because they're trying to tell us something, that it's taking us away from our peace. And when we get to a point where we start addressing the causes of what's happening in the world by talking and seeking to understand our neighbors, listening to what they're really saying and addressing the real issues, which is disenfranchisement or feeling powerless or ignored, or and dealing with those emotions, then we get to a place of understanding, because we're all feeling the same things. We're all, in different ways. We've all, there's more about us that are alike than there is different. And we all feel, unheard sometimes. We all feel powerless sometimes. And when we get to the things that make us the same, and we deal with those, and we seek to understand the other viewpoint, the other side of the aisle, then that's when the healing begins. Because we, all as a society, want to blame this thing or that thing or whatever, and it's not about blame. It's about getting to the root causes of what is making us feel the way that we feel. And when we address the feelings, because they're there for a reason, like I said before, the feelings exist in us, just like pain exists, that something's not right. And what's not right is that we live in a world that's not created, or at least we feel like it's not created for everyone. And so we need to get to a place of understanding. Stop and listen, so we can heal as a country, as a world, and we have the ability to come together, because there's no shortage of creative minds out there. That 5 hours on TikTok and looking at all these creative people, all those creative minds, there's no shortage of creativity. And that because the universe is always creating. If you want to know what's going on in the universe, just look at nature. Nature is always creating. It's always growing. And we're no different. So stop and listen. Seek to understand, because that's the goal of communication, is to understand. And you got to know who you're talking to, and who you're, what you're dealing with, and who you're communicating with, and seeking to understand. Because we're created we came from the same space, and we're here for a purpose. It's to create. And when we come together to create a world that works for everyone, and we seek to understand, then that's when the healing begins. So just some food for thought out there, and just another perspective on what's happening in the world, and just take some time to understand your neighbor, say hello, and say, how you doing today? And with that, I hope that something out there resonated with somebody, and I hope that we can start to heal as a society and start to grow and to see more and more things, because it's all about intention. You hold that intention that we will see peace. We will, whenever you look into somebody else's eyes, you're like looking back at yourself, and they're feeling the same things that you are. So if you get in touch with that, you can start to really see some change in the world. Be sure you like and subscribe, and share this video. Maybe leave me a review. This podcast. Share it with somebody, leave a review maybe, or if you have any questions or show ideas, or you just want to talk, leave me a voicemail on one of the platforms that are there, or send me an email at podcast@pleasantspirit.com. And check out my websites and newsletters and all those other things that are wrapped around all this stuff. And with that, be well. Have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Pleasant Spirit Podcast. We hope you found today's show informative. Please take a moment to write a review. And if you want to reach out or have show ideas, you can email at podcast@pleasantspirit.com. You can also visit his website at pleasantspirit.com. If you are in the Portland, Oregon area, you can schedule a massage or one of his coaching services at pleasanttouchmassage.com. See you next time, and always be well.